What's up, Mets fans? Welcome back to Talking Mets and Rob. How is everybody doing? Before I get started talking about the series preview between the New York Mets and the Atlanta Braves at Citfield, once again, guys, if you enjoyed this video, hit on that like button. If you enjoy my content, want to see more, want to get notified when I post my videos and when I go live, you guys know what to do. Hit on that subscribe button, everybody. All right, guys. So the series of the season is finally here. Game 102 of the season, and the New York Mets are a game and a half back of the first wild card, and the Atlanta Braves are in our way. The New York Mets, with an amazing turnaround over the last 2 months, are finally able to take advantage of a team they're facing and take over that number one wildcard spot. And how sweet would it be to do it against the Atlanta Braves? Again, this is not the series like the end of September in 2022. There's a lot more baseball after this series. But as good as the Mets have been playing, after the beatdown in the Bronx that the Mets gave the Yankees and sweeping the Subway Series, their momentum is sky high right now, and they got to take it to the Atlanta Braves that are wounded right now, and they need to take control over this series. There is no question about it. A 4-game series against the Braves, game and a half back. Mets go 3 out of 4. They'll be leaving this series the number one wild card team, and that is what the Mets are trying to do. We're going to go over the pitching matchups. We're going to go over the success of this team in this series and how they will win this series over the next couple of days, starting tonight with Luis Severino on the mound against Chris Sale. Chris Sale has been very, very good for the Atlanta Braves, but Luis Severino has been damn good as well. And I do know that I wouldn't want nobody else on the mound right now than Luis Severino. He is our big game pitcher at this current moment. He's one of the guys in this rotation that I trust the most every single time out there, and he seems to be stepping up every time. We need him to step up this season, and I expect nothing less from Luis Severino. Again, a tough lefty in Sale, but the Atlanta Braves are walking wounded right now. No Albies, no Fried, a lot of injuries. Obviously, Acuna is out for the season, right? Olsen's having a down season. Riley's not having a good as a season. This is the time you want to beat up on the Atlanta Braves, because not only is getting to that number one wildcard spot in reach right now, but we talk about this time and time again. As close as the National League wildcard race is between 5 and 6 teams, you need to have that tiebreaker going to the end of the season. You want to have that tiebreaker because worst case scenario, you want to have the tiebreakers on as many teams as possible, because it would suck if the New York Mets have a really good record, say 5-6 games over 500 to end the season, and don't make the playoffs because of a freaking tiebreaker. You want to have those tiebreakers, and that's why beating the Atlanta Braves are not only important in a matter of games back, but in the tiebreaker sense, you want to have that tiebreaker at the end of the season. So game 1, we got Luis Severino against Chris Sale, and the long-awaited comeback of Kodai Senga making his debut of the season Friday against Charlie Morton, and Citfield will be rocking for this entire series, and definitely will be rocking to see a glimpse of Kodai Senga for the first time this year at Citfield in a big series against the Braves. I love that the New York Mets are bringing back Kodai Senga in this Brave series. They could have easily waited, not put him in a pressurized situation, but he is your ace. You got to get him in here. You got to win games. He's going to be on a pitch count. We understand that. But this is going to bring up the Mets even more. And just seeing Kodai Senga on the mound is going to get you excited with that ghost fork and all the Senga euphoria that goes on at Citfield. Everybody loves him. It's great to see Kodai Senga coming back tomorrow, and I can't wait to see him pitch. Third game is TBD. There's a possibility of maybe somebody stepping into that Christian Scott role. We'll see who it's going to be. I don't think the Mets are going to do a bullpen game, but you never know. We'll have to wait and see. I know there's been rumblings about certain pitchers. I'm not going to put a name out there yet because we just don't know. And they will be going against Spencer Schwellenbach, who's been a very good young arm for the Atlanta Braves. So it's going to be a tough matchup with these young kids. We know the Mets are notorious for making young guys with not a lot of experience look like Cy Young. But let's hope the Mets are going into that game 3, who is TBD right now, and a big question mark up in the air who's pitching on that Saturday. We have the first 2 wins of the series going into that game, and it's kind of playing with house money in that third game. That's what you want to do. Last game, David Peterson. David Peterson, a lot of people, a lot of Mets fans, including myself, didn't even want to see David Peterson on this team going into the 2024 season. He has been outstanding since coming back from injury. That is something that none of us thought would happen, and he would just be, a spot start here and there. If there's an injury, he'd be in there. But he's a staple of this rotation right now. He's going to be a part of this 6-man rotation when Sanger comes back tomorrow. So David Peterson, who's undefeated, who seems to always get out of jams when he puts himself in them, he's been extremely good. Not great, but good. Giving you quality starts, giving your team a chance to win. That's what you want from starting pitching, especially nowadays in Major League Baseball, who usually go 5 or 6 innings on average. David Peterson, to end this series, I really do like against Ronaldo Lopez, another young arm where I think it's going to be tough for the Mets, but the Mets have showed you that in this 2-month stretch that they can beat good pitching, right? This is the series where you put your foot down and you let everybody know we are here to stay. Because we could talk about the Yankee series. That is a lot of fun. You could talk about the last 2 months and coming back from the dead, 11 games under 500. But putting your foot down, letting everybody know we are the New York Mets. We are here. It starts with this series. You beat up on a division rival. Right now, the Mets have been playing a hell of a lot better than the Atlanta Braves. The Atlanta Braves are not 100% right now. Ton of injuries. This is where you have to beat them. Because they do get a little bit more healthier later in the season. At least you got some games in hand when it comes to the overall tiebreaker, if that so happens. So the key to these series right here, continue the good offensive play. And I'm not just talking about runs. That's the obvious thing that the offense has to do. A non-obvious thing is to get these starters working the count. Battle. Just like the Mets battled against Cole, fouling off pitches, even though they weren't getting to him early, they were fouling pitches off, getting him frustrated. Get these Braves pitches frustrated. Get in their heads. And this time, the New York Mets are coming after the Braves, not the other way around, right? This time, they're looking in their rearview mirror. They're looking back right now. They see a train steamrolling right towards them. This is the time the New York Mets can show the country, show the league that we are dangerous. We're a team to be reckoned with, not just in the NL, but in baseball. The best record in baseball over the last 2 months. The offense has been one of the top offensive in baseball over the last 2 months. This New York Mets team found a new life, and that momentum is taking them into the end of July and 5 days. 6 days until the deadline. This is where you give Stearns, which I already think is probably true, no choice but to do what he's got to do to help this team and get those reinforcements. Because there's a lot of talk now that maybe the Mets, maybe David Stearns might be willing to do a little bit more, might be willing to give a little bit more to get a better reliever or a better couple of relievers, maybe even a starter. The New York Mets have done something that probably 95% of Mets fans, if not more, thought was impossible. The Mets have an opportunity in this series to really put the hammer down. And if they do that, you think Mets fans were excited after yesterday? Wait until after this series if they do damage and win this series, God forbid, even sweep this series. Mets fans are riding high right now. The Mets have been playing excellent baseball. Continue that, guys. So, the matchups, Severino versus Sale, Sanger versus Morton. TBD for the Mets against Schwellenbach, David Peterson versus Ronaldo Lopez. That is the 4 matchups for this series, Thursday through Sunday. After this series, we got the Twins, and then we got the trade deadline. Mets fans, get pumped, get ready. Can't wait for tonight's game. Can't wait for this series. Mets are riding high. They're at home. They got their fan base behind them at Citi Field. With that said, guys, I want to thank you for watching. Don't forget, guys, if you enjoyed this video, hit on that like button. If you enjoy my content, want to see more, want to get notified when I post my videos, and when I go live, you guys know what to do. Hit on that subscribe button, everybody. Let me know in the comments, guys, how are you feeling about this New York Mets team and this series against the Braves? 5 games over 500. Let's get to 6 games over 500 tonight. Let me know in the comments, guys. How are you feeling tonight in this series against the Braves? With that said, I want to thank you guys for watching. As always, Mets fans, let's go Mets, and I'll see you next time.